from here. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us right here on Breakfast Shows Trending Now. We begin with this one in Abia State, where a viral video shows a passenger who threw trash from a moving bus being asked to retrieve it. The woman was traveling from Akwa Ibom to Port Harcourt. I don't know why that is there, but you know, when she tossed waste out of the window. When the bus stopped in Abia, the driver handed her over to sanitation officials who made her pick up the trash. The act has sparked praise online, with many commending the new Abia sanitation protocol. Let's let you hear some of that.
Neighbor, pick this one and pick all these ones. Pick all of them. See this one. See here. See that one waiting there. See that one waiting for front. So the woman drank water inside vehicle. So after drinking the water,
you know, this will serve like a warning to everybody traveling through Abia State that no, you can't throw dirt here. But as usual, he had things to say. Let's share some of those tweets with you at this time. Nkiru says, this is how you teach responsibility without violence. Everyone needs to see this. Abia State must succeed. Yeah, I agree. Chief and Queen, kudos to the Abia State enforcement. Clean habits build a clean community. When everyone takes responsibility for their waste, streets stay beautiful, the environment thrives, and respect for public spaces grows. Small actions create big changes. I absolutely agree. And finally, on the matter, Block Lab Protocol, learning good habits is a virtue. We should teach these things in schools, markets, and religious institutions. We see these habits daily, but they are not proper. I absolutely agree with you. Mr. Biodun and Ibrahim, you know, look at this. She threw trash through the window on the street, but when the driver finally, you know, took a park, handed her jelly to the sanitation or gas, and see what she was made to do. It looks good.
Oh, it looks great indeed. For me, it's not just that one should commend the Abia State government for enacting that law. Sanitation laws are virtually in all states of the Federation. But the bigger praise should be for the driver who felt duty-bound to hand her over to the reporter and hand her over to the Abia sanitation testing, and who eventually get her to start picking up all the rubbish. We should understand certain facts that, look, the law recognizes the fact that at a point in time you have a trash, but you don't have to dispose it by throwing it on the street. You can leave it inside the bus or inside your vehicle. When the bus gets to the garage, it will get cleaned up. Or when your vehicle gets home, you know, you get it cleaned up or remove and dispose properly. So I think this should be a lesson to many other people, and I pray and hope all the state governments will emulate this so that we can have a uniform compliance throughout the whole Federation.
Yeah, I think it's part of being responsible, being a patriot, that you would not, that you have to ensure that the environment is very clean. I remember growing up in primary school in social science, they taught us not to, do not litter the floor. That's the line that they actually taught us in social studies. And I believe these are some of the things that, you know, they trained us with growing up. Was it a national policy at the time? I can't exactly remember, where buses, commercial buses, were made to have baskets in their vehicles, so that if anyone wants to, you know, dispose of anything, you throw it into the basket and it stopped. So we should bring that back. Part of the checks that we should be, you know, asking for, demanding from these commercial bus drivers is, do you have, apart from fire extinguishers, do you have baskets, or do you have means of waste disposal? So with all of this has been applied to that woman, and they've actually given a punitive measure. Would we do the same to someone who is, you know, somewhat influential, you know, driving his own private vehicles?
Yeah.
I would love that is also meted out to people who also do that as well.
Yeah, you know, again, that will raise, you know, Ibrahim, you raise the issue of buses having baskets and as the case may be. But that will also raise the kind of buses that we're allowed to play on the road, because, you know, it's not all kind of buses that will have that basket hung somewhere. with it because of the space. And so that one is another yellow bus and green bus and blue bus wahala.
I think it's very honorable for you to just keep your trash, with you. I remember eating chocolates, the last time I went, not last time, maybe the last 2 times I went to the UK, I ate chocolates and I just kept it at the side, pocket side of my bag. I came back to Nigeria and I was like, where did I even get this trash from? I remembered. So I couldn't even dispose of it, because I was at the airport at the time.
Yeah. Well, you could just drop it in the bus and when you alight, it could be cleaned up. But let's get to our next matter. This is also moving from a passenger matter to another passenger issue. A Nigerian taxi driver is being praised online for returning a wallet left behind by a foreign passenger. The driver tracked down the owner and returned it intact, earning a $200 reward. The act of honesty has gone viral, with many Nigerians applauding the driver's integrity. Let's play out that moment for you.
No wala, sir. No wala, sir. No wala, sir. Okay, check it. Check all your documents and your money. Everything is inside. Just check. Check everything.
This is for you.
Eh?
This is for you.
You gave it to me?
Yeah.
$200.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, sir.
No.
I really appreciate it.
You know the exclamation from the driver, $200. That was quite a real one. But let's take some reactions you had to share about this story right here. Kai is saying, man, seeing this just reset my faith in humanity small. In this economy where people, they find any small way to survive, this driver still chose character over cash. $200. That's around 320,000. Now, big motivation, but be the main thing. Integrity, now the real flex. Who else feels, say, small acts like this, they quietly save Nigeria's image more than any government PR is part of it, my dear brother. Build from zero. Props to the driver for doing the right thing without hesitation. In a world where people often expect the worst, stories like this remind us that integrity pays off sometimes, literally. Absolutely. I agree, my brother. And finally, on this Uyi, he didn't gain $200. He also gained a lifelong customer. Yeah? That Oyibo will refer him to all his friends. Once those ones hear what he did, they'll refer him also. At the end of the day, what the world would have gained would make the total money in that wallet peanut. Honesty pays all the time. Uyi, I absolutely agree with you. And Mr. Biodun, Ibrahim, what a wonderful one. In today's economy and being a taxi driver, the guy decided to choose honesty above instant gratification.
Honestly speaking, we don't know the contents of the wallet. It may contain valuable information or cards which the man needs for different reasons. It may not necessarily be cash, but the fact that a Nigerian can return that, given the hybrid mixed perception of Nigerians, this will go a long way to help, improve on the image of Nigerians rather than being seen as majorly a country of scammers. Rather, this would go a long way to change that perception. But there are so many honest Nigerians, and in fact, the few ones who are scamming other people are the ones tainting our image. So we should encourage more of this. Kudos to the driver. Well done.
I say well done to the driver. What more can I say? Because it's very difficult for you to find people. This kind of people are very difficult to come by, but there are so many. They are bound, in Nigeria. It is not enough for you to see something and then you feel, let me return, these lost items to the owner. And when you do it, it's not expensive for you to be kind. It's not expensive for you to be honest or to be truthful. And handing it back to the person, you should not even expect that the person will compensate you. Some Nigerians will be saying, no, when you saw $10 million, why didn't the person give you $1 million out of it? No, it's the prerogative of the person to either give back or not. Your reward lies with your creator. Just be kind. It's not expensive, but this man actually got an instant gratification, instant reward, and definitely it will be multiplied because he did it out of good intentions. Yeah. We say kudos to the man that appreciated this kind gesture, and we say thank you to the driver for also painting us positive. Even if you see broken bottles, nails or anything on the floor, just take it away, move it to a safe place so that another person does not bump or get onto it.
And I like the fact that this really went viral. Nigerians are really praising the guy for this. I remember some time ago, Ibrahim, I did a story on a lady who finds money within the airport. Her name, Mrs. Josephine Ugu. At the last count, she had returned over 100 and something billion naira. She found, in bags, and she was earning from 6,000 to 12,000 naira, and she had the audacity to return billions of naira.
That's right.
Why?
That's right.
Let's get to our next story, this morning. And this time around, on another praiseful matter, a police officer is being praised or has praised Nigeria's new Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, in a trending video. The officer, who previously served under Disu, described him as a leader committed to the police welfare. Let's play that moment for you.
This IG, if you ask me, I will tell you, he's so passionate about police welfare. Wow. I was under him from 2015 to 2020 before I left for Delta State. Yes. When you have any problem, he was always swift in attending to your problem. He's a wonderful IG. And if you ask me, without missing what I tell you, he's my special boss.
The video has sparked mixed reactions online. But again, you had things to say about this. I'll bring that to you. Akomi is saying this is a good testimony to the work of an individual. He is a true representation of humanity. He is tagged here. Continue to wax stronger in your new status. He's advising the new IGP to remain stronger. And Aziz is saying, met a man who is a NURTW board trustee in Ikare, Akoko, en route Abuja last week, who said good things about him, particularly with helping him sponsoring his children through tertiary education. These are cool stories to hear from afar. Best of luck, Giwa Olakpa. Mr. Biodun and Ibrahim, I don't think anybody has an issue about the competence, the capacity of the new IGP. Do they?
Oh, certainly. The new Giwa Olakpa, as described by a commentator, is certainly a well-experienced officer, trusted by many, and those who have come in contact with him, could attest to the fact that he is not the typical Nigerian police officer. He relates amiably, very well with everybody. He is willing to look at problems and resolve them, not with a view to getting things complicated. As far as he is concerned, justice should be the cornerstone. So I'm not surprised that he came out with his own team on human rights, to ensure that civic rights are upheld by the Nigerian police force, and also to tackle corruption, even within the police force itself.
Yes, I'm so excited, getting, this kind of feedbacks from not just a Nigerian, but someone who is also in the same institution, with this man, the same force. But one thing is, the expectation is quite high, and it means that's a huge one for the new IGP, Disu. We just believe that, we just hope that he's able to deliver on the mandate, because Nigeria is bigger than Lagos, bigger than Abuja, bigger than, I think he also served in, Lagos. I think he also served in Delta State or thereabout, some of those states in Nigeria. So Nigeria is it's huge. So Lagos State is a microcosm of Nigeria. But if you're able to succeed in Lagos, why not, in Nigeria? Because there's so many things that you can actually, bring to bear. So I say, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, but we pray that God makes it easy for you to deliver on that positive mandate and make Nigerians proud at the end of the day, at the end of your tenure.
Indeed, but let's now talk on a very wonderful matter, or should I say critical issue, which one of the things that the new IGP needs to confront is this one right here. A bank customer in Minna showed bravery after being targeted by armed robbers. David Emmanuel Adebayo recovered a rifle and shot at the robbers, injuring one, but they escaped with over 10 million naira and his Toyota Camry. The police have recovered the robbers' vehicle and rifle, and investigations are ongoing. Quite a sad experience here that happened in Minna. But again, as usual, you had things to say, and we'll bring some of those reactions to you at this time. Engineer Onos Where are the mobile securities in the bank? Did they run from the armed robbers? Because I know banks have a minimum of 5 mobile police officers. If they were active, all the armed robbers would have been dead. Well, yeah. And Ogbeni Tinubu is saying, how did he know how to cock a gun? And it seems they missed target, and the guy too is fortified, because if you're not fortified, you'll never have the courage to face an AK-47. That's why state policing is very important in every state, and Mr. President has approved this, so it's left to the governors to implement it. And finally, on the matter, Sparrow News is saying, if I had a bulletproof power, I'd rather engage these thieves in hand combat than running helter-skelter whilst they're moving away with my money. Be combat-oriented and ready if you must survive in Nigeria. That sounds a bit extreme, don't you think? But Mr. Biono and Ibrahim, these are some of the issues that will be laid bare on the table of the new IGP, and Nigerians are expecting them to fix it. Insecurity.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Nigerians will be expecting a quick response squad in this situation so that the robbers don't get away. But again, it depends on early information given to the Nigerian police force. If we fail to contact them in time, it might be too late in some cases. But generally, if you look at the opinion, I praised the man's bravery. That's David Emmanuel Adebayo, who recovered a rifle and shot at the robbers. I sincerely, hope he will do this in all situations. I congratulate him for doing that. But my counsel, my wise counsel, is to pick up from what is saying in UK, that don't try and be a hero in this situation. It's better for the thieves to leave and then get the police to go after them rather than trying to be a hero. He could have lost his life in that process. So don't try and be a hero, but be brave and courageous. Ensure that those who are well trained to deal with this kind of situation are the ones handling the rifle, to deal with the robbers.
I know this would have actually bolstered some people's courage and say, yes, I can actually face anyone, anyone who tries to, cheat me or rob me of my possessions. But I'll tell you, do not try this at home, because it can be very, very dangerous and deadly. We do not know what kind of training this man has got. We do not know what kind of fortification, whatever it is, that he has, for him to have faced them. But I feel this is an action that came out of frustration. Like, come on, you don't know how much I'd gone through, how much I'd actually suffered to, earn myself this amount of money, and you guys just want to take it away from me like that. No, I won't let it go. But I say kudos to him. He's such a brave man. These are the kind of Nigerians that we want. But then, altogether, we do not want anyone to, get into this kind of fights, gunfighting with the enemies of this nation. So the CCTV cameras were active. There were also some angles to it. Some Nigerians were also filming, from their hideouts. So we pray that they are able to arrest these gangs, these evil people, and then bring them to justice. Ibrahim,
like you said, 10 million naira is not a little money that I could just let you walk away peacefully like that. But
nothing is worth your life, no matter how much, even if it's $1 trillion.
Well, I mean, I understand that. But how did these robbers get to know about it and, target this guy from the bank and then to where this shootout actually happened?
That's a $64,000 question, but some reports actually, said that, they've been trailing him, probably they were acting on intel. Some people must have given them the information, but they trailed him from the bank to that restaurant before they struck.
Well, we really hope that the police would get to this and bring justice.
In cases like this, we need to be careful when we go to the bank, particularly if you are transacting a huge amount of money. Yeah. It's better to do it online. So don't worry about paying charges. Transfer the money, be safe, and make sure that the money gets to where it's going. It is a lot better than, creating unnecessary risk for yourself. Yeah. At times, robbers have, informants within the banks pretending, trying to withdraw money or carry out transactions. So we need to be more safety conscious.
It's a security risk for an individual to go do such a huge transaction. But we need to move on now to our next story. This more